1894. Don't forget our number. Bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our 80-plus show partners on our website. You can watch our streaming version of the show, our TV show version on WeBeam TV, or from the website as well. And we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We're going to have a lot of fun today here in studio. And let's go around the horn now and make our introductions. In studio, we've got Ahmad Yakzan, immigration attorney. Welcome in. AmericanDreamLawOffice.com. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm very happy to be here today. I'm attorney Ahmad Yakzan from Yakzan Law PLLC. Your American Dream Law Office. What I do is 100% immigration law. I help my clients come to the United States, stay in the United States, or stay in the United States through permanent residence or naturalization.
Nice.
I've done this for a very long time. I don't only practice immigration, I actually live it.
Right.
I came here to the U.S. As an 18-year-old boy, recently graduated from high school, and I've been here, and now I call the United States home.
Awesome. Yeah, great. It's going to be a great discussion. It's such a hot topic right now, so I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
And also in studio, Danny Triplett. He's the owner of Full House Liquidation, longtime friend of the program. Welcome in, Danny.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. Just wanted to talk a little bit today about a couple of things. This last Sunday, we had the extreme honor of going to the home of President Jimmy Carter in Roslyn. We were in their home in Georgia. They invited us to come because of something we found in one of the homes where we conducted an estate sale last year. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and about the once-in-a-lifetime meeting we had, a sit-down with President Jimmy Carter.
Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I think he was at one of Warwick Dunn's giveaways as well, the home,
home
presentation. Yeah, he was at the number 100 for Warwick Dunn. So that's going to be a great story from Danny Triplett. Also in studio as well, my friend Abraham Musa, President, Total Title Solutions. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I'm here just to listen to what everybody has to say. Interesting. You're the second person that I met that have met Jimmy Carter. It truly is. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say, and I would like to rebuttal what Ahmed had to say about immigration today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have some great conversation, and that's what it's all about. What we want to do is we want to educate our listeners out there, help you win in any marketplace. Think about this show as the hub of your financial will. We want to quarterback these introductions to all of the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region. As you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty as well. I'm a published author and a professional speaker. So if you'd like to MC, if you need an MC for your events or a public speaker, we'd love to talk to you. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. And we're going to teach you how to start your own broadcast, television show, radio show, and potentially even just do a podcast. A lot of people are doing podcasts nowadays. But we always start our show off with something positive, some personal development. We call it our Audible. We got Peyton Manning there helping us with the Audible. But in yesterday's show, I talked about the three main influences in life, and I realized I forgot one of the main ones in a lot of people's life, and a lot of people have it, and it develops as a habit. And you think about as an input, what are you putting into your brain, or better yet, what are you letting your child put into their brains? So here's an estimate. It's estimated that Americans 12 years or older watch 1,704 hours per year of TV. Think about that, 1,700 hours of TV per year. That's an average of 4.7 hours per day, almost 30% of our waking hours watching TV, and almost one whole day each week, and almost 33 hours per week as well. So that's equivalent of 2 months out of our 12 months of the calendar year that a lot of people are watching the news. They're watching TV sitcoms with the fake pumped-in laughter and the comedy. And so when you think about that, you might want to reconsider some of the habits that you're letting your young ones focus on and control. And you think about, what are you feeding into your brain? Are you working on something positive, something that's going to help you listening to stories of success, strategies for success and prosperity, maybe healthier relationships? So just want to bring that to your attention. That's the quarterback tip for the day, and it's the 2-minute drill. The Audible is how much time are you investing into watching some of these sensationalism in the news, and also these 30-minute sitcoms that are going to do nothing to help you, and go on a media diet. Get rid of the media. You don't need to know what's happening with Trump and all these other things. It's going to blog your mind and focus on what you can control, as Stephen Covey says, the things that you can control, your sphere of concern, and you have a sphere of influence. So what can you control? That's your 2-minute drill for today. All right,
Great.
let's go ahead and jump back into this now. I love this. First, we got to plug our sponsor. We've got Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built in St. Pete Beach in decades. It's Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. It's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites with balconies overlooking the intercoastal waterways. Rooftop yoga on the weekends. If you're a boater, you pull your boat right up, hang out at the awesome pool and hot tub area. And also the Castillo restaurant is a great restaurant right on site. So Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Mention the quarterback sent you. You get 15 to 20% off your room stay, just depending on when you book it. All right, so we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. It's your most important hour on the radio. We're going to help you win in any marketplace. Also, our TV show on WeBeam TV. So, we've got an immigration attorney expert here, expert contributor, AmericanDreamLawOffice.com, and Ahmed Yakzan, immigration attorney. So why did you choose immigration law to be your target for study?
Well, as I said earlier, I don't only practice immigration law, I actually live it. I live it every day. I came here to the United States. I graduated high school from Beirut. 3 weeks later, I was here in the United States on my own. My whole family stayed over in Lebanon. I didn't see him for 17 and a half years until 2015 when I actually got my green card and I was able to go see them. My sister was 5 years old when I left, and now when I showed up again, she graduated college that year.
Wow.
So I know what my clients feel.
Right.
I know how hard it is to be away from family or being in danger of being away from your family.
Sure.
I understand both cultures. I understand the American culture and the culture that they come from. So I do everything possible to actually, that experience really helps me just calm down my clients and do things the right way. So.
Right. Yeah, that's, man, what a powerful story. And when you look at immigration now, the climate, it was a hot topic during the political exchange, during that nauseating cycle that we all got drugged through. Now, what do you see happening? What's going on with immigration law? What are the recent changes, and how can our listeners do something about it?
Well, how you can do something about it is call my office, 727-317-9757. That's the number in St. Pete. The number in Tampa is 813-335-4938. And Brandon, I'm doing something very special for the show today. The first 5 people who actually call in and reference the show will get a free consultation with me.
Nice.
So
okay.
that's about $200 worth. So if you call and say you saw us on the Consumer Quarterback Show, I'll be more than happy to waive that consultation. That's number one. Yesterday we had big news. Actually, we got the new travel ban, the travel ban 2.0, or the executive order to protect the United States, as Mr. Trump, President Trump, actually coins it.
Yep.
And 2 weeks ago, we got the new enforcement priorities, which are a problem. And then I want to talk about how you can actually use real estate. We are a real estate show to actually get an investment visa to come to the United States, which is very possible and something that I do for my clients on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so immigration law, when we come back from break, I want to talk about, where we're currently at, where you see it going, and what this new executive order says. And, is it all bad? Is part of it bad? Are there certain things we need to keep? I know there's a lot of the leeway in it is, what are the definitions around a criminal, right?
Absolutely.
So we'll talk about that. We'll jump into that. And I know Abe's going to want to jump in on this too as well. And we're going to talk with Danny Triplett. He's the owner of Full House Liquidation, estate sales extraordinaire here. He's also a appraiser as well. He's now certified to appraise. So if you're looking to do estate sales, Danny Triplett's the best in the business. And we want to remind you, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. Submit the form there, and we'll make sure that we'll put you in contact with any of our expert contributors here in studio that you'd like to talk about. So a toy from the late 70s is getting a technological makeover. Find out what it is. Interesting story here on our Tech Corner from Anthony's helping us out with this. And so a toy from the late 70s getting a technological makeover. Find out what it is next here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And also some great consumer advocate content around immigration law, things happening in the news. We want to help you understand how it affects you in your life. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, the Business Journal, and Tribune, the Times rather, recognized for innovation with marketing. Got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. 7814 Sims Road in Gibsonton. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath property, completely renovated at $449,000, over 4 acres of land, and you also have a commercial property attached. That is a great opportunity. It's going to have $2,000 of income coming in at 7814 Sims Road in Gibsonton, as well as 2606 North Valrico Road in Seffner. This one is an 84-acre parcel of land, prime for development out here in East County. $1.79 million, 2606 North Valrico Road, and a great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, we're back here in studio as well, live from iHeartRadio. Big shout out to our restaurant partner, Hula Bay, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show on Tyson Avenue here in beautiful South Tampa. Waterfront ambiance, excellent food, wide variety on the menu, excellent sushi as well. Say hello to Mike Finnegan and his team over at Hula Bay, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to remind you as well, we got a business growth seminar happening in a happy hour, rooftop happy hour at the Hotel Zamora on Friday, March 24th at 3 p.m. You don't want to miss this. It's packed with free content, pure content from an action coach, business coach, and also digital marketing as well, how to beat your competition online. And then followed up at 5:30, we're going to the rooftop. We're going to enjoy a rooftop happy hour overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. So that's a business growth seminar, Friday, March 24th, 3 p.m. at the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach, 3701 Gulf Boulevard. All right, we're back here in studio, live from iHeartRadio, and let's jump right back into this. We had an interesting conversation. Let's dive deeper into the immigration. Attorney Ahmad Yakzan here, immigration attorney, AmericanDreamLawOffice.com. And so I think if you ask most Americans, most people, you say, okay, so there a lot of people are so polarized by this issue, but what kind of cracks me up a little bit is that people really don't know what's in the detail. As they say, the devil's in the detail, right?
Absolutely.
What are the details of this thing?
Okay, so the executive branch has a lot of leeway when it comes to immigration. You, as we saw, President Obama, for example, changed the enforcement priorities to not allow nonviolent immigrants, undocumented immigrants who are parents of U.S. citizens, or we heard of DACA, allowed DACA recipients to stay in the United States.
Right.
What President Trump did after he actually came in is change the definition of criminal, change the enforcement priorities. And almost every single president actually does that. So it's not something new to President Trump. I think all of us agree that if you are a violent criminal, you kill someone, you peddle drugs, call my office, right? Because you deserve due process. You deserve to do all of these things. Call the show, get my number, call me. We represent people in immigration court. We represent people in front of the USCIS to apply for relief from being removed and everything. So, but the majority of the people that I represent and the majority of the undocumented population in the United States, hardworking.
Yeah.
They're some of the best people I've ever met in my life. One of my clients that I still represent. I've represented him for about 7 years now through appeals and everything. Woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, went and worked in a nursery for 14, 15 hours a day, came back, had a wife who is mentally disabled, supported her, raised 3 kids who are United States citizens, raised them and put them through college. Yep. This is the majority of the people that we actually have in the undocumented population.
Right.
So for us to just change the definition to include them in the enforcement priorities, I don't think our immigration courts have the capacity to do that. I think we're in Orlando jurisdiction, and they're already backed up until 2019. So I think immigration reform will probably be a very good thing. And I know President Trump said something about immigration reform last week to actually move us in that way. But it's a very thorny. It's honestly a very thorny issue, and it gets politicized.
Yeah.
But I met with someone yesterday who didn't know that her mother actually qualified for her green card before she was born, and we were able to actually apply for some relief. So a lot of people who walk through the door or call me
That's right.
don't know that they actually have a way of being removed from the to avoid being removed from the
Right.
United States. So call an attorney. I mean, all
Yeah.
it takes is a consultation.
Ahmed,
Let's do this. Let's give out the hotline number real quick, Abe. 813-917-1894. Give us a call. Shoot us a quick text message. Just text the word immigration to 813-917-1894 to our hotline. We would love to put you in touch with attorney Ahmad Yakzan, immigration attorney, AmericanDreamLawOffice.com. Go ahead, Abe.
The point with all this that I've shared this with Brendan before is the misconception by the general public, as they think when we say undocumented, they simply think that these people intended to break the law by just skipping the immigration office as simply as applying for an application and here you go, here's your work permit. That's the misconception. If you can explain that to people, it's not really that simple. You can't just walk into an immigration office and file your paperwork.
Or Abraham, they think that everybody actually went through the border, they jumped the border, and,
Right.
came here in an undocumented way. The majority of people who are undocumented today are people who came in on business visas or visitor visa B1, B2. They overstayed their visas and stayed here. I would say probably about 80% of them.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
no, you do have people who actually came in and crossed the border. And by the way, the CBP does say that we are having negative migration, which means more people are leaving from the United States back to South America, except for Mexicans. But we do have a lot of people who are going back. They're not actually coming,
Really? So it's a
coming
plus.
this way.
It's
Yes.
a plus negative.
Yes, absolutely. So, and that's why we're going to talk about, the actual wall maybe in a different show. That would take a long time to talk about. But what you said, Abraham, is absolutely untrue, because in 1996 we changed the rules. You used to be able to come here, apply for an asylum, and keep getting work permits, renew them until it used to take about 10 years for you to have an asylum hearing.
Yep.
And then stay in the United States and do whatever you need to. Not anymore. Now you have to wait 150 days. You have to do all of these things. You can't even get a driver's license in Florida without having some sort of paperwork with immigration.
Right.
So it's not like these people are living large, being undocumented.
Right.
So you have to qualify somehow to be able to get a work permit.
But the qualifications are not something you just pull out of the hat. They're not that easy
saying it's
to
difficult.
qualify.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
absolutely are. I mean, you have to be the son, the daughter, the spouse of a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. You have to have some sort of special skills. How I got my permanent residence, my green card, my employer had to prove that no one can do my job, and we were successful by doing that because of my background.
But you're one of the lucky few. But some unlucky people are not able to do that. They're waiting in
Right.
line for 10 years to get a visa. I mean, how do you explain that?
No, we just can't. I mean, this is what the United States is doing to itself. I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
On April 3rd, for example, we have the deadline, we can start applying for H-1B visas. For a long time, I stopped taking them because your chance of getting an H-1B visa are very slim. I got an H-1B visa in the middle of a downturn, and I got it, and there were still numbers. Now, what we're doing is we're educating people, and after they're done, we're telling them, well, we're not going to keep you here. See you later. We only have 85,000 visas for you, and they run literally in 2 days.
Yeah.
They run out. So it's it's very hard, unless you're rich or you're the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
It's very hard to immigrate to the United
That's what I want
from-
to tell you.
Thank you.
Exactly my point is that
Yeah.
if you're not some lotto winning and you happen to be a relative to an American citizen, your odds are very slim to
Actually-
ever enter the country.
Actually, if your brother is a U.S. citizen, it takes 14 years for that petition number to become
Wow.
available. That's
Wow.
how long you're waiting to actually come here.
This all kind of resonates home with me too, as well. I mean, let's think about it. My grandparents, they were first generation through Portugal, through New York, like a lot of people are. I grew up in a farming community down in South Florida, and the traditional farming is a lot of migrant workers that are coming in, and they're doing a great job and harvesting the food, doing the jobs that a lot of Americans wouldn't do, And so this is a great topic. Let's when we come back, we're coming in our break, and when we come back, I know we're going to jump into more of this, and we're also going to bring in Danny Triplett into the conversation, owner of Full House Liquidation Estate Sales, and also an appraiser as well when it comes to appraising properties. Had an interesting sit down with President Jimmy Carter as well. But yeah, definitely a lot to talk about immigration still on this show, and more from our expert contributors. Want to remind you to engage us at consumerqb.com. Submit the form. Go to consumerqb.com. Submit the form just like an email. It comes right to me. My promise is that I'm going to get back to you before my head hits the pillow that same evening. And more from our expert contributors when we come back. Shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. They have a 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guarantee by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team at the University of South Florida. Now we're quarterbacking transactions for real estate partners. We're quarterbacking business owners transactions as well with Rhymes Media Group, helping you win digital marketing-wise, helping you with your website design, pay-per-click marketing, search engine optimization, dominating and beating your competition online. That's what we can help you do. We got an event on Friday, March 24th, 3 p.m. at the Hotel Zamora. Come out, enjoy a great afternoon. Friday, 3 p.m. A lot of people knock off. They go golfing anyways. Come on down and invest in your business. Learn how to beat your competition online. We're also going to have Patrick Leach, who's an action coach. He's going to be talking about 7 principles of business strategy and growth, also mastering persuasion as well. So it's a happy hour at 5:30, but the content starts at 3 o'clock. So come on down for the content. Friday, March 24th at the Hotel Zamora, 3701 Gulf Boulevard in St. Pete Beach. Pure content, free event. All you have to do is register 813-917-1894 and also consumerqb.com. This segment's brought to you by Michael Vogt, Back in Health Massage. He's my massage therapist, and he does a great job. He's voted top 10 massage services in Tampa Bay by the readers of the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Best in the Biz Awards. Big shout out to Back in Health Massage. Michael Vogt, helping people with neck, back, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. And let's go ahead and break Danny Triplett into the conversation here, owner of Full House Liquidation, estate sales extraordinaire here, and longtime friend of the program. So, yeah, interesting things happening in your space too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We just had the great honor and privilege to sit down with President Jimmy Carter this last Sunday and his wife Rosalind in their home in Georgia, in Plains, Georgia. They invited us to come and meet them at their home. We had found some things in a home about a year ago or so that were family photo albums of President Jimmy Carter's aunt.
Wow.
And in there were pictures of Jimmy Carter when he was younger, and Rosalind, his wife, or as he says, Rosalind, and pictures of the family, his uncle, who was the reason that why Jimmy Carter ended up going into the Navy, because his uncle was a captain in the Navy or something. So we found all of these things, and I contacted the Carter Center and asked them if we could hand deliver these. I said, could I please give them to him in person and meet him? And they said, well, we're not really sure if you'll be able to do that. He has a very busy schedule still. He still travels a lot, even in his 90s, and has a lot to do with the Habitat for Humanity and all the different things, the Carter Center. So I was kind of disappointed. I was like, they went basically, were asking me just to bring them up there to Atlanta. We'll show you around the Carter Center. I was kind of like, oh, okay. Well, they said, well, let us see what we can do. So maybe an hour later, I get an email from his press secretary saying President Carter has personally invited me to come to his home in Plains, Georgia.
Wow.
So
That is awesome.
yeah, it was it's very surreal when we went up there. We went up there on Saturday, the day before that we were going to meet him. We got to see his boyhood home, or the farm where he grew up, and the town, which is like 700 people, really small little town. His campaign headquarters, which was the train depot in town, still looks exactly the same.
That's cool,
So
man.
then the very next morning, he still teaches Sunday school at his little Baptist church there in Plains. So we got to go and hear him teach Sunday school. And right before he started Sunday school, he's like, where's the Triplett family? And I raised my hand, and he's like, hey, they brought me something. And he smiles real big. And then he goes into talking about what we had brought him and how it related to his family. And then, he taught Sunday school. And then after the Sunday school service, for the next service, he sat right behind us, and we talked a little bit. And then his office, the Carter office, had set up an appointment for us after church in the afternoon, after lunch, to go over to their home and meet with him personally. So we pull up to the Secret Service or the command post gate.
Checkpoint or
Yeah,
something.
checkpoint. We get to go onto their property. We go back there, and there's President Carter standing out in front of his house on the sidewalk, waving, waiting for us to come in. So
Nice.
we bring in all of these. We bring in all of these photo albums and these boxes full of stuff that we had found, and we set it. He invites us in. We set it down on the floor there, and where he tells us, and then he invites us to come sit down in the living room with him and his wife, First Lady Rosalind.
Nice.
So we sit down and we start going through the pictures and talking about them all, and he's telling us stories, and she's telling us some stories, and they're pretty actually some funny people. They're really very genuine and kind people, and so we talked for a while, and they let us take some pictures with them, and he's going to send me a thank you letter, which he said I could use for my business, which would help me. I think it'd be great to have.
Yeah, that's
but,
really cool.
So there was a lot of opportunities like that. It was just meeting him was very surreal.
Did they serve peach pie?
Peach pie? No peach pie. It was after lunch. So
My favorite time in Georgia.
Peach pie. Yeah.
But Anyway, so it was quite the experience, very surreal. I kept pinching myself, thinking, "Is this real? Am I really sitting in President Jimmy Carter's house?"
Yeah, yeah.
So it was very exciting. I
I
mean,
mean, that is pretty cool and an honor. I mean, again, that's another lotto ticket.
Yeah, yeah.
Not many
Yeah.
of us will ever have that chance.
it was. I was when I first found the pictures, I was like, I had chills. I was like, "These look like President Jimmy Carter."
But how did you know that when they were
Well,
kids?
what's that?
How did you know that was the president?
Well, I mean, from seeing his face before,
Yeah.
you know, I grew up as a child in the late 70s, and I remember seeing him on television and stuff. And when I started looking, these are probably pictures. I don't remember which one of the pictures I saw first, but it was right around the time he became president, maybe when he was governor of Georgia, and I recognized his face, and I started looking through more and more and saw, you know, more of the pictures. But it was. Well, again, I keep saying surreal, you know, just sitting there in their house talking with them and sharing the pictures. But he was very excited, very glad to receive them and everything. But just the experience.
Charismatic, very charismatic.
Yes, he's a very low key guy. Very, you know, just down to earth, like you're sitting talking to your neighbor.
Yeah.
No, not very excitable. You know, very kind. And the smile though, my daughters, they let me bring my wife and my daughters up there. My daughters were in love with him. They're like, oh, he's so cute.
You know, I remember talking with Warwick Dunn when we were on the show, when Warwick was on the show a couple years ago, and he said that he did his 100th home giveaway, or down payment assistance giveaway and presentation, they call it. And they had Arthur Blank from the Atlanta Falcons there, the owner of the Falcons. They had President Carter there as well. And I think there was one other distinguished guest. But, you know, what a great thing Warwick Dunn's got going.
Warwick Dunn. Warwick spins to the 10. He's to the 5, 4, 2.
Helping
Touchdown.
single parents gain home ownership through his down payments program. I think he's done close to 150 homes now to date. What a great guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were reading a book about him, one of the books that he wrote like 2 years ago called A Full Life. He wrote it at age 90. He's 92 now. And just, I mean, ever since he was a boy, I mean, a young man, and then his time in the military, just the accomplishments he's made were phenomenal. I mean, obviously, like we've been talking about immigration, you know, the peace treaty in, I think it was 1978 between Israel and Egypt, I believe it was.
Yep.
Just, I mean, his accomplishments are phenomenal. What he's done for the world.
Right.
His
Yeah,
contribution,
absolutely.
yes,
So
is priceless.
you had a question too about immigration. Let's go ahead and
You
jump
know,
in there.
I was listening to the guys talk, and I just wondered, you know, a lot of people obviously are worried about the criminal people coming into the country,
Sure.
and of course that's the big fear. My question was just like, they were saying how hard it is to, you know, to get into the country. It's not that easy. So the thought came to my mind, well, does that mean it's easier or harder? I'm sorry. Is it harder for the criminals to get in too?
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm
probably not
saying it's
necessarily.
not a criminal. It's a criminal. They have no borders or any allegiance to anyone. If they intend to commit a crime, they're going to come in either way, whether they're drug dealers or criminals
They're
or
gonna get in,
escape.
yeah. So they're not going through due process.
I mean, the same argument we have about
Right.
about guns. Does carrying a gun makes you a criminal?
Right,
Not
no.
really. Killing
Right.
someone with a gun makes you a criminal.
Right.
Well, not always, but you get my
I know
my
what you're
point with
saying,
that.
right,
Yes.
yeah.
What we're talking about here is two things. It's called, there are two concepts in immigration called inadmissibility and deportability or removability. When you're trying to come to the United States with a criminal conviction, depending on the criminal conviction, it might be impossible for you actually to come in.
Right.
Even if you've had even on your visa application, they're going to ask you, have you ever been convicted? Have you ever been arrested for anything? Because that actually might stop you from coming to the United States.
Right.
When you're outside the United States, your rights for due process are very limited. You're not going to get a. I tell my students at SPC that you get a bigger bundle of rights the more that you move in. So you get a little bundle when you're outside the United States, the bigger bundle when you come to the United States to become a permanent resident, and then the biggest bundle that you get is when you become a U.S. citizen. So if you're trying to come here with a criminal conviction, depending on the criminal conviction, you're probably out.
And isn't that where a lot of the motivation behind the Trump administration is from the certain countries, the vetting process behind the immigration? Is that what the counter argument is, or how can you vet them is what they're saying?
That's a counter argument, but I honestly don't think that the ban would do it.
Right.
It would, and the problem is not only the ban. The problem is that the ban was actually, it only stops one part of the world from a certain religion. This is
Right.
what I have a problem with.
Right.
Now, what I posted yesterday on my blog is there's going to be a problem if this goes to a lawsuit. the Achilles heel for this is going to be, why did you take Iraq off? 3 weeks ago,
Because you broke it.
no, but I'm not. I'm seriously not trying to become political. But why
Sure.
did you? I mean, 3 weeks ago, you said ISIS is in Iraq, and they don't have the vetting procedures to actually let the Iraqis in. Why do you take them off now? So if they were such a threat, why did you take them off? So
Yeah.
and the court, you have to meet a very high level of scrutiny,
Right.
when you're trying to keep people out of the country based
Sure.
on religion. So I think it's going to end up in litigation. The ACLU said it today. I think the Democrats are going to sue on it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it's going to be in litigation.
We'll see what happens. Also, here's what we got coming up in the next segment as well. As a toy from the late 70s is getting a technological makeover. Find out what it is next. Interesting story for anybody that was a childhood age in the 70s. Interesting story there. More from our expert contributors. A little bit more about immigration and our consumer advocate tip. Top things to do, and things to avoid. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, 2606 North Valrico Road in Seffner, 84-acre opportunity, prime development opportunity out on Valrico Road in Seffner, $1.79 million, great buying opportunity. Attention business owners in the Oldsmar area, you got a great opportunity here, 700 St. Petersburg Drive West in Oldsmar. Great potential. You've got a corner building, commercial building here with the large lot, $280,000 just reduced. 700 St. Petersburg Drive West in Oldsmar. Beautiful buying opportunity here in lovely Tampa Bay.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, and this segment is brought to you by Source One Solutions, the official security partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Robert Hessel and his team provide Honeywell technology to protect your home or office. Source One Solutions, the official security partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're back here in studio, live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida. And Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., your most important hour on the radio. Also syndicated on 102.5 The Bone on the weekends as well. And let's go around the horn here now. So we're talking immigration law. Danny, did you get your question in? Did you get your question answered? Okay. So we talked about that. And we've got Ahmad Yakzan, immigration attorney, AmericanDreamLawOffice.com, Danny Triplett, Full House Liquidation, and Abraham Musa, president of Total Title Solutions. Abraham, the floor is yours.
Okay, we're talking about immigration and why it's so important, the entire debate. First of all, we need to understand why people want to beat down the United States doors to get to this country. Of course, it's the land of the freedom, the opportunities, the whole nine yard. So we can simply resolve this by one simple solution. And this is, of course, I simplify because it's my solutions. We'll open the border for everybody. Okay, open the border for everybody. Everybody is welcome to come in, but here's the caveat, here's the conditions. You get to our airport, you have to have enough money to last you for 6 months. Okay, we'll give you 6 months worth of working permit or work permit. You have to find a job within 6 months. You have to come in with one-way ticket. If you can't find a job within 6 months, please use that ticket and get the hell out. Okay, that's simple. All right.
There you go.
And if you do find a job and you are not burdened to our society and you're not burdened to our government and our social programs, then we'll renew your work permit and you are welcome to work toward a permanent residency or a citizenship if you prove that you have been good steward of our land. That's my solution.
I see a political run coming, maybe.
I mean, don't you think? Because, we keep we had the war on drugs. It didn't work. Nothing works unless you eliminate the consumption of it. And it's such a simple thing. If a person cannot find a job, like you said, you have negative immigration out of the country from the people not coming in. Well, if they can't find a job and they cannot assimilate into our society, why should they be here? Right. But they should use their own money. Now, I do understand that $10,000, $20,000, whatever that money is, you have to come in. You got to give us that money at the airport, basically, to say, this is your fees for coming to this country, instead of paying Ahmed here for legal fees. So, I mean, it's rather simple. People will pay, and you will get good people. Now, criminal will always going to be criminal. Let's remember that. And there is always unintended consequences for anything that we'll ever do.
Interesting.
That's my take.
Nothing would make me happier than the 7 billion potential new clients. I promise, Abraham. But I don't believe. I think we need to be selective. I seriously do.
What makes you? Why do you have to be selective? What makes you better than the other person? I mean, is the person that picking the tomatoes less worse than you, or the engineer is better than you? I don't understand that. We are all of humankind.
Okay, I think. Stephen Colbert, 2 years ago, I think, testified in front of Congress about undocumented immigrants and farm workers. And they put an ad for Americans to come and actually do farm work. Right. Only 1 or 2 people out of a lot of hits on that website actually came and did it for a couple of hours and stopped. And
so that's to my argument to say what makes us selective. What makes us selective is the person going to be a good steward of the land that he's in.
Because immigration is a sovereignty issue for the United States. For example, Abraham, we don't graduate enough STEM graduates in the United States. That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Right.
We don't do that. But guess what? Like I said earlier, after you get your PhD, sayonara, we're not going to see you anymore because we don't have visas for you.
Great. So what I'm saying is, of course, we're going to be selective on some of these people. Of course, we're going to keep them. But to my point is, why isolate everybody? And eventually, the cream of the crop will rise, and whoever we need, we need. But if you apply to the zero-sum mentality to where the pie is a fixed size, of course, you're not going to be open for that. But if we can grow the pie, we're fine. We've got plenty of resources.
Well, I seriously still. I mean, this is a debate, the philosophical debate that everybody has every single day, and representatives of FAIR and all of these people show up on CNN and say we don't need more immigration, we need less. I think we need more immigration, but we need to. That's why for a very long time I advocated for a Canadian program in the United States, a point system for us to actually let in. Right now, what we want is people who can invest money, and this is what I was going to talk about.
The real estate side.
The real estate side of it.
Yeah.
If you're from 46 countries, we do have an E2 visa for you. These are visas that are based on treaties that we have with the United States. the United States and the countries. You can get in, you can buy a small business and stay here in the United States as long as the visa is working and your business is actually working. You can keep renewing the visa.
So small business investment is going to get you in the United States.
Absolutely. If you're
Is there
from
a
one
number?
of those, there is no number. I've done
Really?
them for people, for a psychologist with a couch and a laptop, and I've done
Wow.
it for someone who spent $1 million. It really depends. And what I usually do, Brandon, is I actually buy a piece of land to attach to that.
Yeah.
So if anything happens, God forbid, you actually have a solid asset
Real
where
property.
you can sell it and actually get it. And we also have the EB5 program in the United States, where if you invest between $500 and $1 million in the United States, which I also tie into a real estate component,
Right.
you get permanent residence
Yeah.
right away. So I do a lot of these cases. I actually go to Mexico and the UAE to speak to investors when
Very
I'm
cool.
outside of the country. So
Yeah, I want to remind you, just shoot us a call. Text the word immigration, 813-917-1894. If you want to talk to Danny Triplett with Full House Liquidation as well, you can text estate sales as well. Go ahead and text our number, 813-917-1894. Immigration law expert, contributor on the show, immigration attorney Ahmad Yakzan, AmericanDreamLawOffice.com, as well as Abraham Musa chiming in there as well. So we're going to lighten it up now. We're going to talk about this toy from the late 70s getting a technological makeover. And for any of you that grew up in this era, PopularMechanics.com and our Tech Corner talking about now you can wear the classic game Simon on your head. Simon Optics is the new way to remember long, pointless combinations of colors. You guys remember that game at all?
Simon,
Dan,
yeah.
you remember? I think this
The
one
light
passed
game,
me over a
yeah.
little bit.
You have to remember the lights.
Remember
Yeah, I
where they're
remember
at?
that, yep.
Let's go and jump into our lightning round. All right, top tips, things to do, things to avoid. You're up first, Ahmed.
call an attorney if you're undocumented and see what they can do for you. A lot of times, there's a reason why we went to law school, why we do immigration.
That's
So
right.
I promise you, we're gonna know more than you. Call us, and even if it's not me, just call someone and get some help.
That's right. That's right. Get help. Get help. Absolutely. Danny Triplett, Full House Liquidation.
I just want to say also, one of the other things I want to touch on real quick, just for a couple of seconds, we also handle fine jewelry appraisals, and we have contacts, and we send things off to auction houses around the country, whether it be artwork, antiques, jewelry. So we deal a lot with local jewelers as far as selling jewelry for people and getting the best prices for them at auction houses around the country. So if you have jewelry, fine art, we're meeting with a client this coming week that has a huge art collection, so we can get those things sold for you for top dollar.
Awesome. Great stuff. Abraham Musa, president of Total Title Solutions.
We'll stay on the immigration topic. I would say, please, you want to immigrate to this country, assimilate, be a good citizen, understand our culture, assimilate into our custom. And when you do want to protest, please don't carry your old country's flag, carry the American flag, and we'll have much more respect for you.
Yeah, absolutely. A great point. And, great show today. I really appreciate a lot of the banter back and forth. I want to encourage our listeners out there, if something you heard on the show today really resonates, just shoot us an email at consumerqb.com. We would love to engage with you out there. And just remember as well, that it's more about your attitude, the way you carry yourself on a day-to-day. And it's not the aptitude that you have particularly. It's about your attitude. And it's not, about smarts that you have in many cases. It's about the heart. It's about the heart behind the drive and the reason why you're doing what you're doing. And I want to thank all of our expert contributors, Ahmad Yakzan, immigration attorney here. Thanks for coming in, educating our listeners out there, offering that consultation as well for the folks that want to engage us, 917-1894, AmericanDreamLawOffice.com. I want to thank Danny Triplett, longtime friend of the program, owner of Full House Liquidation Estate Sales, as well as Abraham Musa, president of Total Title Solutions. He's also the owner of Abe's Place and a entrepreneur in the Tampa Bay market, well-respected businessman locally here. And, of course, we want you to go out there and please consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as packing up the leftover food you may have, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, handing it to that person that you see in need, and also 5 ways to contribute according to Tony Robbins, one of my mentors. Take 10% of your money and give it away. Become a mentor. Spend time and visit with other people. Give to those in need, or become a volunteer. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.